Lil Pesach, in the middle of Magid, there's a piece that Lechira doesn't belong. Omer Belozim and Azario, Hare ani keven shivim shono, v'lo yizochisi shete'oma yitzias mitzrayim b'leilis ad shedrosho ben zoyma. And the Mishnah is a Mishnah at the end of first Perek in Brochus, and the Mishnah goes on to prove from Psukim that there's a mitzvah of Zchias Yitzias Mitzrayim every night. We would have thought there's only a mitzvah of Zchias Yitzias Mitzrayim, to mention Yitzias Mitzrayim every morning, and for that we read the third Parsha of Krishma, the Parsha of Tzitzis, where we end off, Ani Hashem Elokeichem, asher yitzeisi eschem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liyas lachem le'elokim, Ani Hashem Elokeichem emes. And we learn it every morning. You should remember the day you left Eretz Mitzrayim, koili meichayecho. And I would have thought that the mitzvah is only in the day. How do I know that even by night we also have a mitzvah to mention Yetzias Mitzrayim? So Ben Zoyma dashed a posuk of Yemei Chayecho, koili meichayecho, Yemei Chayecho Hayomim, koili meichayecho Aleilis. And from there we learn there's a mitzvah of Zchias Yetzias Mitzrayim, also in the morning, also in the evening. And the question begs to be asked. There's a fundamental difference between the Yetzias Mitzrayim that we're busy with over Pesach, first night Pesach, and the Yetzias Mitzrayim that we're busy with every morning and every evening. One is mitzvah Sipur Yetzias Mitzrayim, and one is mitzvah Zchias Yetzias Mitzrayim. It's two different mitzvahs. There's a mitzvah, Reb Chaim is famous, Reb Chaim, there's three differences between the mitzvah Sipur and the mitzvah Zchira. One is B'derech Shaila Tshuva, one is V'gadol Levincha. There's three differences between Sipur Yetzias Mitzrayim and Zchias Yetzias Mitzrayim. And therefore we need to understand that if we're busy Leil Pesach with the mitzvah of Sipur Yetzias Mitzrayim, all of a sudden comes the mitzvah of Zchias Yetzias Mitzrayim. And we say, how do we know that there's a mitzvah of Zchias Yetzias Mitzrayim by night? And we bring the whole Ben Zoyma, and we discuss there's a mitzvah not just in the morning, there's a mitzvah in the evening as well. Who's busy now with Zchias Yetzias Mitzrayim? We're busy now with the mitzvah of Sipur Yetzias Mitzrayim, not with the mitzvah of Zchias Yetzias Mitzrayim. And the two mitzvahs are two separate mitzvahs. So how does this piece come into the Haggadah? It's two different mitzvahs. It's two different mitzvahs. Two different mitzvahs. I won't tell you a vote that I heard from my father, but I want to introduce with another vote. There's the Yom Tov is called Yom Tov of Pesach, and a very interesting name. Pesach al shum sheposach HaKadosh Baruch Hu al botei bnei Yisrael b'Mitzrayim. Now, the Eibusha jumped over the houses. Now, if you ask me, the Pisuch was one of the details of Makkah's Bechoros. Makkah's Bechoros was the last Makkah, and after that was a catalyst, that was the cause for Yetzias Mitzrayim. But the Yom Tov that we celebrate is the Yom Tov of Yetzias Mitzrayim, Kriyas Yam Suf, Yetzias Mitzrayim. Why do we call the name of the Yom Tov Pesach al Shum Shaposach? The Pisuch that the Eibusha jumped over the houses is one of the details of Makkah's Bechoros. So there's 10 Makkahs, and one of the details of one of the Makkahs was that the Eibusha jumped over the houses. And we call the Holy Yom Tov and the Korban and the Masechta, everything is called Pesach. Korban Pesach, Maseches Psochim, Chag Pesach. Why? Call it Chag Yetzias Mitzrayim. So there's a famous word from Briskerov. Briskerov says that the difference between all the other Makkahs and Makkah's Bechoros is that all the other Makkahs was in a comma. The Dom was Middah Keneged Tzvadeh was Middah Keneged Middah, like we know, the Midrashim. But the Middah, all the Makkahs was an Oynish Middah Keneged Middah, was in a comma. Ho'isalonu nisim on a comma b'fari. The Eibishter made in a comma with Pari. And that was the idea of the Esem Makkahs. On the other hand, the Middah, the Makkah of Makkah's Bechoros was not in a comma. It was the Makkah of Yitzia. And if you look in Parsha Shmois, the Eibishter sent Moshe Rabbeinu to go to Pari, and he told him, Koi Oma Hashem b'ni b'chori Yisrael. You should know b'ni b'chori Yisrael. Klal Yisrael is my oldest, my ben b'chori. V'oimai lecho shalach es ami v'avdeini v'tamoin l'shalchoi hine onoichi hoirig es binecho b'chirecho. The Eibishter never told Moshe Rabbeinu, go and tell Paroi that there's going to come Esemakas. The Eibishter told Moshe Rabbeinu, go and tell Paroi, if you don't send Klal Yisrael out of Mitzrayim, hine onoichi hoirig es binecho b'chirecho. Because the essence of the Oinshim, the essence of Yitzias Mitzrayim was Makas B'choros. Like the Miskarov says that Makas B'choros was not just an akoma. Makas B'choros was the Makkah that with that the Eibishter sent Klal Yisrael out Mitzrayim. So it's a bit easier. So the Pesach, the jumping over, had a bit more to do with Yitzias Mitzrayim than a detail in Makas Oriv. But we still need to understand the essence of the Yom Tov is a Yom Tov of Yitzias Mitzrayim. So why do we call the Yom Tov Pesach, which is only one of the details of what the Eibishter did during Makas B'choros, which was a catalyst for Yitzias Mitzrayim, which brought to Kriyas Yamsuf? Why do we make such an Isu Eisek of the Pesach? So Mamol getracht azoi. The Yisod, the Gon, the famous Gon, the Gon says, Ato b'chartonu mikol ha'amim, ohavto isonu v'rotzisa bono. So the Gon says, Ato v'chartonu mikol ha'amim refers to Pesach. That was the leader of Klal Yisrael. The birth of Klal Yisrael was b'shas Yitzias Mitzrayim. That was the leader of Klal Yisrael. The Ato b'chartonu mikol ha'amim, the Eibishter chose us, that happened b'shas Pesach. Ohavto isonu shvuos. Yishakenim and Shikis Piyu, Rashi says, that was Matan Torah. That was the Avo from the Eibishter to Klal Yisrael. V'rotzisa bonu, it's a famous Gon, that the reason why we celebrate Sukkot after Yom Kippur, not Pesach, even though it's Zeichel Anani HaKovod, which was Gleich B'shas Yitzias Mitzrayim, says the Gon, because we're not celebrating the Anani HaKovod that we went out to Mitzrayim with those Anani HaKovod. No, when we did the Chet Egel, then we lost the Anani HaKovod. And when the Eibishter said on Motzi Yom Kippur, Solachti Kidvorecho, then we got back the Anani HaKovod. We were Zoicha again to the Anani HaKovod that came back, and we celebrate Sukkot because of the Anani HaKovod that returned, V'rotzisa bonu, that you were meratza to us after we did tshuva from the Chet Egel. And therefore we celebrate Sukkot for the new Anani HaKovod, not for the first Anani HaKovod. It's a shmuz for Sukkot. But Al Kolponim, the Gon says, and as steht in alle Sifrei Kabbalah, that the Yesod of the Yom Tov of Pesach it's the birth of Klal Yisrael. Hayoim hazeh niyeh solo'om. The Eibishter chose Klal Yisrael for a nation. That happened Pesach. The Ato b'chartonu mikol ha'amim happened Pesach. When was that Bechira? When did that Bechira happen? When did that choice happen? If you think, when you want to make a choice, imagine you have a table full of jelly beans, and you want to take all the red jelly beans. So you jump over the green one, and the blue one, and the yellow one, and you take the red one, and you take this red one, and that red one, and you pick the Bechira from Klal Yisrael. When the Eibishter chose Klal Yisrael, that was b'shas Makas B'choros. Kol b'chorei morogto, uv'chorcha ga'olto. When the Eibishter jumped over the Pesach al botei b'nei Yisrael b'Mitzrayim, and he said, you you not, you not. Kol b'chorei hem horogto, uv'chorcha Yisrael ga'olto. That Maisa was the Maisa of the Bechira of Klal Yisrael. When the Eibishter chose Klal Yisrael and says, you I don't want, I'm going to kill. You I do want, I'm going to take. You yes, you no. Asher Pesach Hashem. Steht in Agoda, V'ovarti be'eretz Mitzrayim b'laylo hazeh. And we darshan ani v'loi maloch, ani v'loi shliach, ani v'loi sorof. Ela HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'chvoidoi v'atzmoi. The Eibishter himself had to play with to make Makas B'choros. Dom tzvadei akinim orav, all these Makas, all those Makas, the Eibishter sent to shliach. All of a sudden we come to Makas B'choros, ani v'loi maloch, ani v'loi sorof, ani v'loi ashliach. Ela HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'chvoidoi v'atzmoi. Why is that necessary? Because the essence of Makas B'choros was the Maisa Bechira of Klal Yisrael. Ato b'chartonu mikol ha'amim. You chose us from all other nations. Nishkam Malach. When you want to choose, imagine you want to choose a wife. So you send a shliach. Go pick me a wife. Go pick me this. Go pick me that. Something you want for yourself. Then esrog is important to you. You choose it yourself. You don't say, "Oh, go and buy me an esrog." You choose it yourself. The Eibishter was choosing Klal Yisrael. He didn't send a shliach. Because the jumping over the houses, that was a Maisa that the Eibishter made a Maisa Bechira. That's where Ato v'chartonu mikol ha'amim happened. And therefore the Eibishter did it himself. So the Yom Tov is called Pesach. The Korban is called Pesach. The Masechta is called Psochim. Because that is what brought, that was the essence of it. The essence of a Yom Tov is not the fact that we left Mitzrayim. The essence of a Yom Tov is the fact that we became a nation, the fact that we were created, the leader of Klal Yisrael. That is the essence that was the essence of Yom Tov. The essence of a Yom Tov is the Eibush that chose us as a nation. That happened b'shas Makas B'chiras, b'shas the Pesach. The Pesach was the Maisa B'chira. And therefore the Yom Tov is called Pesach. The Korban is called Pesach. The Masechta is called Pesachim. Because that is the essence of the Yom Tov. The Eibush that chose us for a nation. And this is something we need to understand. Because we all know that the Yom Tov of Pesach is all about Emunah B'tochen and Ashkocha. And what does that got to do with creating a nation? It's two different points. The Eibush took us as a nation. And there's another point is that we see on the Sipri Yitzias Mitzrayim, we see the concept that the Eibush chose us as a nation. And we see that the Eibush is Mashkiach, watches over us, and is Chava Oynesh and Kol Yochel. Now the Teretz says it's all one. It's famous in Ramban, the end of Parshas Boy, that the Yisoidus, all the Yisoidus of Emunah B'tochen, all the Yisoidus of Ashkochas Hashem are in Yitzias Mitzrayim. And the way the Ramban explains it, the Eibush doesn't come every generation. I'll come along and say, who says there's a God? There's a story by Nishlelim, prove it, show me. The Eibush doesn't go every Rosh who comes along and says, show me there's a God. So the Eibush says, I will make once a Maisa where I will show that I exist, I'm a Yochid, I'm watching over you, and I'm Kol Yochel, Schav Oynesh, all the Yisoidus of Emunah. I'm going to be Mitzaveh, V'yigadet Bincha, to give over those Yisoidus to your children and your children to your children, and I know these Yisoidus because I heard it from my father, and my father knows it because he heard it from his father, and his father knows it because he heard it from his father, eventually till Yenu was there. Yenu was there. He was there. And the Eibush put that in as a mitzvah, Sipri Yitzias Mitzrayim, to internalize. That is the essence. That is the essence of Yitzias Mitzrayim, and that is the way we know now that the Schav Oynesh. That's what the Ramban writes. The famous Orchos Chaim Lo Rosh, the end of Yom Rishon, he writes, Lahamin b'ashkachosei haprotis, to believe that the Eibush is watching over every single one of us, and to understand the whole Lashon. I don't have here the Lashon, but Ki Einov Meshoitetes al Kol Ha'oretz, the Eibush is watching over, his eyes are floating over the whole land. Ve'einov al Kol Darkei Ish, O Boichen Leiv V'choike Kloyes, the Eibush is Boichen Leiv, he knows what you're thinking, he knows what you're planning, he knows all your ideas, he knows all your plans, all your dreams, and all your aspirations, and all your sheifas, and where you want to get to and where you don't want to get to. Umi she'einoi mamin ba'asher yitzei sicho me'eretz Mitzrayim, af bo noichi Hashem Elokecha einoi mamin. Yichud Sholem. Yichud Sholem means to believe the Eibush is a Kol Yochel. We don't exist. Not only we don't exist, that the Eibush is running the show. The Eibush knows what's going on inside us. He created us. He created our wishes, our tzoynes, and therefore we can rely on him and we can depend on him. And he's watching over us. And if something bad happens to us, he caused it, and he knows how it happens. He knows how we feel about it. And that is the Yisod. If you don't believe in that, then you don't believe in Anochi Hashem Elokecha. When it came to Yitzias Mitzrayim, we see Makas Orov, we saw it in all the Makas, it was Midah Keneged Midah. Punk there, you watch an Egyptian and you'd watch him and you say, oh, he's the fellow who hit me. It was very interesting. He used to kick me. This Egyptian kicked me. He didn't hit me, he kicked me with his foot. And then you watch a tiger would come and bite him on his foot. Midah Keneged Midah. So that shows that the Eibush was watching over. He understood my pain. He felt my pain. Schav Oynesh, ki einov meshoitetes al kol ha'oretz ve'einov al kol darkei ish. He's watching every single detail of our life. And if you don't believe, if you don't believe all these messages and all these yisoidus of Yitzias Mitzrayim, then you don't believe either in Anochi Hashem Elokecha ve'ein ze yichud sholem ve'zeu skulas Yisrael al kol ha'amim ve'hi yisoid kol ha'torah kula, endik the Rosh. Zeu skulas Yisrael al kol ha'amim. The difference between a Yid and a Goy is a Yid lives it. He believes it and he lives it. And he knows the Eibush is watching over him and cares for him. Zeu skulas Yisrael al kol ha'amim ve'hi yisoid kol ha'torah kula. This is yisoid of a Torah. So therefore the essence of the Eibush chose us as a nation. Pesach is Hashum Sheposach. That's when the Eibush chose us as a nation. And that is the time when he found it important that we should internalize all these messages of Emunah B'tochen. Because all these Yisoidus of Emunah B'tochen, is what creates us as a Yid. So Hashem says, I'm creating you now as a Yid. I am now creating you as a Yid. Now I'm choosing you. Now it's the leader of Klal Yisrael, and now is the Ato B'chartonu B'kol Ha'amim. The Eibusha chose us. He says, I want you to know. You want to know what a Jew is? You want to know what a Yid is? Someone who understands and believes and lives this concept that Ein of Meshoitetis al Kol Ha'oretz ve'Ein al Kol Darkei Ish. And it's a tremendous chizuk for us. And that's the essence of Yom Tov of Pesach. Coming back to the question we asked before, is my father said on Tamur Gevot. He said, imagine you go on holiday and you've worked hard and you're exhausted and you need to make a holiday. You make a vacation. You go on vacation, everyone goes where they need to go, and you take photos. Now comes the middle of a long winter and you need a break. I'm desperate for a break. I can't. My work doesn't allow it. Whatever it may be, I can't take a break. But I need a break. What do? You go to your photo album, or today you go on your phone, and you look at the photos. You remember we were here, we were there. And you look at the photos, and you can switch back in your mind to the matzav ruach, to where I was. You can close your eyes and put yourself back on the beach. You can close your eyes and put yourself back on the mountains with the snow. And that gives you a shtickle break. It's a mini break. That's the difference between Sipu Yetzias Mitzrayim and Zchiras Yetzias Mitzrayim. Sipu Yetzias Mitzrayim is the vacation. Zchiras Yetzias Mitzrayim is looking at those photos. We spend a whole Yom Tov of Pesach, the famous Chinuch. The Chinuch writes that why do we start the mitzvah of Sfiras Ha'omer only the second night? Because the first night, and the Chinuch adds, and the first day of Yom Tov, we're busy with Sipu Yetzias Mitzrayim. Moedige Chiddush and Chinuch. That the first day Yom Tov is also mitzvah Sipu Yetzias Mitzrayim. Big Chiddush. In der Breise steht nicht das, in der Agode steht nicht das. Aber steht Afke Beshoshi Ishmatzo Mor Menochem Lefanecha. Also steht Chinuch. To continue, to live it. You carry on. The next day of Pesach, you're still living the night before the experience. You're still living the vacation. You're still on the way home. Now, 6 months later, all of a sudden you need a chizuk. Things aren't going well. Business is going difficult. Problems, social problems, whatever it may be. There's difficulties, there's challenges. What keeps me going? What gives me this chizuk that the Eibishter is ein of meshoitetes al kol ha'oretz, ve'ein of al kol darkei ish, and the Eibishter is watching every little thing. You know what's watching me? You know what's watching me? You know what's giving me koyach? You know what's giving me energy? Leil Pesach. Sipu Yetzias Mitzrayim. I remember, Ani Hashem Elokeichem, asher yitzei eschem eretz Mitzrayim. Boom, switch back to Leil Pesach. And that gives you the energy. That switch back to Leil Pesach is what gives you the energy to keep you going. Sipu Yetzias Mitzrayim. Kum Leil Pesach. You go on vacation. Now, why do you take photos? I don't need to take a photo of the mountain. I see it. I don't need to take a photo of the beach. I'm there. Because I know that I'm going to go back to day-to-day life and I'm going to want to remember it. So I take a photo. The memra that we say Leil Pesach of Maskirin, Omer Arei Anik Ben Shivim Shono, that is a photograph. That's taking the photo. You know, you're now all inflamed and it's very difficult. You come to a Yom Tov and a Yom Tov is a moed. You know what a moed is? You know, we've been 6 months without a Yom Tov. We're in the dirt, in the mud. We're in the mud. What does the Eibishter do? Picks us up. He cleans us off. He washes us. He cleans us. Puts us on nice clothes. And we feel good and we feel close. Aber was ist das wert? It's gewaltig. I know very well, Motzei Yom Tov, the Eibishter is going to say, okay, you enjoyed it? Here, back down. How long is it going to take for me to get dirty again? How long is it going to take for me to get filthy again? So when it comes Leil Yom Tov and you have a tremendous chizuk, Yom Tov, what's keeping you going? So we tell you straight away, there's a mitzvah of Zchiras Yetzias Mitzrayim every night. Every morning and every night. There's a mitzvah of Zchiras Yetzias Mitzrayim balaylo. So my father said, that is the essence of the mitzvah. That is, saying it is taking the photo, and every night is watching the photo. That's giving us energy. We know we're going to keep ourselves going. The vacation will give us energy all the way through. Because the Yesod of Pesach is this Yesod. I want to finish with a moedige Gevot from the Malbim. My Shver always used to finish Leila Seder Azay. My Shver used to say, Azay, you finish a Seder, at Dovid a Seder, you're busy. A ganze Leil Pesach. No. You're asking me how I was designing Leila Seder, how I would finish off how I would finish a Leila Seder. I would finish Leila Seder Azoi. We finish. Echad mi idea, stam agav steht die moedige Sach. Steht echad mi idea. Steht bei the pute of echad mi idea. Ich meine, der alte Belzerov hat gesagt, der moedige Wort. He said, what's echad mi idea? He says, you know, when you imagine you invite someone to your house. You invite someone to your house. You know, there's guests I bring into my dining room. I generally don't bring guests into my bedroom. No, bedroom, it's my private place, and I'm not going to bring guests into my bedroom. Now, I have a safe in my house, and there I have treasures. In the safe, I have treasures. I have things. I wouldn't show it. When you want to see the crown jewels, the Eibishter doesn't. You don't show it. All your takshitim. Leil Pesach, we get very close to the Eibishter. At the end of a Seder, when we get to Echad Mi'idea, the Eibishter says, we've become one, we've become very close to Klal Yisrael. We've become close to the Eibishter is close to us. The Eibishter says, I want to show you the crown jewels. I want to show you all my takshitim. Come, we're close. He says, you want to see my takshitim? Shnei luchos abris, shloisha ovos, arba imos, chamisha chumshe Torah, shisha sidri Mishnah. These are my takshitim. Dr. Belzeruv, this is what I took. This is what we take out. The end of a Seder, the Eibishter says, I want to show you all my treasures, all my takshitim. I'll show you all the things that are hidden. I'll take them out. I'll show you. These are my treasures. Shtei luchos abris, the shloisha ovos, the arba imos, the chamisha chumshe Torah. These are my takshitim. I show you. Now, if you're asking me, we finished Echad Mi'idea. You're asking me, I would finish a Seder like this. The same way we finish Yom Kippur. Shema Yisrael, Baruch Shem, Hashem Hu Elokim, Hashem Melech, Hashem Moloch, Hashem Yimlech Le'olam Voed. How do we finish? Chad Gadyo, cow, cat, the dog, stick. Zok the Malbim, Rabbi Isaiah, finish with this. Zok the Malbim, Amuri de Gevot. Says the Malbim, you know what Chad Gadyo is? Chad Gadyo is the same as Hashem Hu Elokim. What's Hashem Hu Elokim? Hashem Hu Elokim, if you look in the Chinuch, it's time to see before Yom Kippur, the Chinuch in the Lav of Leisikoim, there he explains the concept of Hashem Hu Elokim, that the Eibishter who's running the world, who owns the world, he's running the world. Hashem, Adon Koil, he is Mesabev Kol HaSibos. He's running everything that's going on. The concept that the Eibishter fit Havel, you can feel calm because you're in good hands. The practicality of Hashem Hu Elokim is Chad Gadyo. And if we can internalize the message of Chad Gadyo, we'd have a different life. The dog bit the cat. Chutzpah. Take a stick, let's hit the dog. What's it going to do? The fire, the water, the cow, the shoichet, the malachamoves. Also HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Eibishter fit the ganze Geschäft. It's all the Rebbeinu Shalom. The Yesod of Chad Gadyo is to tell you we go through Chad Gadyo every day in our life and we blame this and we blame that and we think this is to blame and that's to blame and this is a problem and that's a problem. Shoita says, Als der Rebbeinu Shalom, ki einov b'shoita tois al kol darchei ish, u'boichen leve choyke kloyes, the Eibishter's schab oinish, the Eibishter's mashkiach, the Eibishter watches over us and he cares for us. That's the Yesod of alles. But also HaKadosh Baruch Hu v'shochel l'malach it's all the Rebbeinu Shalom was b'sabav ala sibos. We think it's a shoichet, we think it's the cow, we think it's the fire, the water, the stick, the dog, the cat. It's Als Darishkeiten. The Als is the Rebbeinu Shalom. So the also HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Chad Gadyo is a practicality, is the practical moshel, is the oisve, is the halacha l'maisa of Shema Yisrael, Baruch Shem, and Hashem Hu Elokim as the Eibishter fit the world. That's the practicality, that's the moshel, and that is what we have to internalize. We come to the end of the Seder, we need to internalize. Now you're ready to live it? Your dog is going to bite your cat. Ooh, you're going to get annoyed, you're going to lose yourself, or you're going to understand this Als Rebbeinu Shalom. And that's the Yesod. And when we have that, and we know that we've taken photos, we have Schiris Tzis Mitzrayim, and we know that is the essence from Pesach, Hashum Sheposach, because the Eibishter hat uns Boiche given, and we become a new nation. We're cleaned off. Now we know the Eibishter is going to put us down after Pesach, and we're going to get dirty again. But we're connected. We're connected. We have that Yesod. And wie der Rosh sagt, Mi she'ene mami b'asher yitzisicha me'eretz Mitzrayim, af bo anochi Hashem Elokecha eine mami. ואין זה ייחוד שולם. וזהו סגולת ישראל על כל העמים, והיא יסוד כל התורה כולה. יום טוב.